Hello, everyone, and welcome to Krystal Light Tarot. I'm Krystal Light, and I'm so delighted for you to be here today with me. In this video, we are going to do a flip through and tarot review of the Happy Halloween Tarot by Sony Graves. This deck comes to you published by US Game Systems. All right. So I was going to wait for Halloween to do this review since it is a Happy Halloween Tarot. However, apparently Summerween is a thing. We are no longer enjoying summer. We're already looking forward to Halloween in these parts. So I figured that was a great excuse for me to do a Happy Halloween Tarot review. All right, so let's get into this. Real quick, so I purchased this on Amazon where it normally goes for about $26.95, but it's currently on sale for 58% off at $11.34. So if you like it, if you're a collector of the tarot decks like I am, you have to get it. Like, it's a fantastic price for a deck so far. I like, spoiler alert, but let's see why, and let's see if maybe you can fall for it just like I did. Okay, so I will say, first going in, I the color scheme, it says that they went after a what was it, the corn candy, the candy corn colors. I don't like candy corn, so at first I was like, okay, we're going the obvious route of using the orange, yellowy, black, white. All right, cool. It is what it is. Those are the colors. Can't help it. But I really liked it. All right, so let me put that there. So we have whatever, I don't know what the name of the type of box this is, but it just opens like you just saw that it opens. Has a ribbon, fantastic. Love a ribbon. Has a guidebook. The guidebook is black and white. I do like the color, like colors in the pages, but it is what it is. And listen, for 11, 12, 13 bucks, I'm not going to complain because it's more about the content, right? So I like it. Yeah, we'll look more into it. So now we have, if you see we have the candy corn theme going on here. Same thing with the colors of the back. So I will say, for me personally, if I were to get a Halloween deck, um, I wouldn't normally go this kind of route. This is obvious, but I did a reading with this deck for myself, and it was so spot on. And I was like, oh no, I love this. And then I further looked into it, and I was like, no, I really do like this deck. So the backs of it have, you have jack-o'-lanterns, bats, you have the eyes. Yeah, you have the protective eye, you have skeletons, we've got ghosts, we have the moon, we have some coffins, we have spiders, spider webs, some herbs, some plants, some clouds. You know, there's a lot going on in here, but it's awesome. And then the sides are black. I loved that. That was something I loved. Maybe the only thing that could have made this better is if it was shiny, but I'm not even hating on that. This is fine. I like the matte of it. Um, the cardstock, it's got that linen kind of feel. I love it. Uh, it's bendy enough, but it's not flimsy. I like it. And as far as size wise, I always do the small hands check because I have small hands. It is like slightly ever so larger than a regular Rider Waite Smith deck. Like, you can barely see it. So for me, I will shuffle the deck after I go through the do a flip through, but I love how it shuffles. I'll just take that off bat. So, all right. So there goes on. If you want to take a look closer at the box, you have the candy corn. What better way to say, Halloween than candy corn, right? So we'll get into the book. We'll dive deeper into the book later. Right now, we're going to get into the flip through. Okay, I'm gonna try to do a silent flip through. We'll see how that goes. I might have some commentary here and there. So here we go. Starting with the Fool. So we're gonna do our major arcana. Put this here. There we go. So one thing I appreciate is that each card has a different color background. I know for my own personal reading, one thing I looked at was, oh, are all the backgrounds one color? And that one color also added a layer to my reading. So I appreciated that. So, like in my reading, I had a lot of black cards. So that added a layer of information, confirming some things for me. I haven't been able to really look to see what what the pattern is on the coloring and so when I first divided up all the cards, put them in order, I did notice that all the aces were all white, but then it wasn't like all the twos were black and all the threes were yellow or all the fours were orange. That was not a thing. Then I was like, oh, maybe the masculine elements versus the feminine elements are one color versus the other. No. So if anybody has this deck and does know why certain cards are white background, why some are black, some are orange, etc., please let me know. So in this deck, justice and strength are swapped. This is something that I look for. I personally prefer it where strength is number 8 and justice is number 11, but it's not a deal breaker for me. But it might be for some other people. But for me, it's not. But again, it was just funny for me. Let's see if I can get a little closer. I want you guys to really get a view on this. There you go. For me, this deck kind of had elements that I normally don't like, but I love the deck. So again, spoiler alert, I love the deck, even though it has elements that I'm not crazy about. So like I said, I prefer the strength is number 8 and justice is number 11, but not a deal breaker, and still gave me a fantastic reading for the situation that I asked about. The Hanged Man. So I was reading reviews online, and one person mentioned that there are two cards in this deck that remind them of another deck. Hopefully, I remember that. The Kim Kranz deck. What is this one? The Wild Unknown. So I'm not sure if that was done intentionally. Maybe I'll even show you. But thank you to the reviewer on Amazon that pointed that out. Still, again, didn't make a difference for me. It's death, temperance, the devil, the kid having too much candy on Halloween. The star. Okay, so that was the end of the major arcana. We're going into the minor arcana. Let me see, are they pips? I guess it's a little pippish. But not really. I have to look in the Kim Kranz. I think the Kim Kranz tarot deck, I think, does have a mouse on some cups as well. Not like that, but it is similar. Six of Cups. So yeah, it is a little pippish. But if you're a more seasoned reader, you can see where it's not so much. I like that. Oh, so yes. So I believe the author will, I'll see if I see it in the book. But yeah, the author decided to use Spanish names or tried to do non-binary names for the court cards. So we have le page, well, the page or caballero, which is caballere here. Reine for the queen and rey for the king. So it's rey for the king, reina or reine for the queen, caballere for the knight, and page de cups or the cups. It seems a little French, but I think they said it's Spanish. On to Pentacles. Give me a second. Sorry, just sitting down. I was standing. My back's starting to hurt. Yeah, as you like I said, it's not really pippish because this is the Two of Pentacles. So you see the skeleton is trying to balance the two pentacles. I know the two pentacles are here, but it's two jack-o'-lanterns there balancing on the unicycle. Here go the pentacles here. Is being protective. So that's the cat being protective of the pentacles. Oh, the pentacles are in the cloud there. Okay. It's a rainy day. Seven of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles. There goes the hard work by the spider. Yep, putting in that work. See? Here goes the page. The knight. The queen. The king. On to the swords. Oh, I like that eye there. And had an anatomical heart. I like that. This is usually the warrior's repose or the warrior's rest. And you have all the bats hanging upside down and resting. Six of Swords, yeah. So would I recommend this as a beginner deck? Maybe not, just because Even though it's not a pip deck, you kind of have to know what the card is in order to get some of the imagery. So yeah, see, Nine of Swords, not just the 9 swords. You do have usually the woman that has the nightmares, or she has the thoughts before going to bed. And here we have her demons coming to get her. 10 of Swords. Maybe intermediate level. Every time I see this one, I think of the song Shooting the Moon. Oh, I forget who sings it, but it was on the soundtrack for one of the Twilight movies. Yes, I like the Twilight movies. Shooting the moon, the moon. I am not a singer, so I apologize, but I just felt to do that. Playing the swords. King of Swords. He's got his little crown. That's cute. And the crystals. I love a good crystal cluster. As you can see here. Oh, no, you can't see it in this shot. I have my little clusters around here. All right, now we're in the wands. This has me thinking of Fantasia. The movie, not the singer. The Disney movie. I don't think I've ever watched that entire movie. I fall asleep every time. That is a movie that will definitely put me to sleep. All the music and the visuals. Four of Wands. Spider made a nice home for her prey. So yeah, here we have the brooms are the wands. All right, so here we get a little pippish, right? Let me see, 6 of Wands. I mean, I guess you could see how this is all put together nicely, showing off. 7 of Wands. Yeah, the brooms are a little different. Yeah, that one broom is different from all the other. So I'm fighting against them. 8 of Wands, something's coming for you. Oh. I think this was another card that that one reviewer said is very similar to the Kim Kranz deck. Mhm. This looks like Cinderella as a witch, right? Or Snow White as a witch. Instead of calling the little birds and things like that, she's calling on her bats. And the Three of Wands. This might be my favorite image, actually. I think this is my favorite card. Yeah, I think when I saw some reviews and looked at some of the images, this was the one that really sold it for me. This was powerful. I'm personally a fire sign, so I tend to love the wands. So, all right. So as far as how they shuffle, okay, I can shuffle this way. So the small hands. I can open you up a little bit more. These small hands test. Oh, my hands are a little sweaty right now, but Back into the bridge. No problem. Honestly, I think cardstock wise, I think this deck is my favorite cardstock so far. I have over 100 decks, and I think this one blew me away. I love the linen. I love that it's it's good on small hands. I love that it has that the sides are gilded or at least painted. That is awesome. That's everything. So I'm going to pull a card now to see how this reads. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Thank you, Spirit. Oh, we've got two. Ooh. Oh, okay. So two cards. Let me see. So we've got Justice, which I spoke about. I usually like it being the Strength card. And we have the Ten of Swords. So maybe I'll read the Justice card because I kind of feel like that's the deck saying, you don't like me, huh? All right. Let's see. Justice. All right. We have three eyes here. We have the heart versus the mind. Sun and the moon. Okay. So who's really right? Our heart or our head? It's both. This golden scale reminds us that a balance is necessary. Our multifaceted self has the tools of sun and moon, feminine and masculine, logic and emotion. In order to find the equilibrium, we seek, we must open our eyes to our own truths, find faith in ourselves, and take wisdom from all of our internal resources. Justice is about giving utmost importance to integrity, truth, and fairness. As they say, the truth will always come to light eventually. More often than not, though, societal justice does not align with personal justice. This archetype reminds us of the importance of creating our own moral codes to live by. Logic and mental faculties can only get us so far. In justice, we take everything we have learned in life to make the most balanced and fair decisions. It requires honesty with the self and a mix of heart and head to come up with the most appropriate and just conclusion. The Justice card reminds us to trust ourselves. We've been through a lot and we know more than we give ourselves credit for. It is not a time for impulsive decision making, but rather a time for self reflection and careful analysis. Do what you know to be right. This card seeks to bring balance into our lives, which means reconciling with cause and effect. We must be able to admit when we mess up, then settle our debts and consider all sides of situations before coming to important decisions. Be accountable for your choices and the life it has created, the good and the bad. It is natural to yearn for equilibrium and to feel imbalanced when we lack it. Use your emotional intelligence to cut out what creates imbalance in your life and inner self. You have done the work to be trusted with this kind of responsibility. Know what you stand for and why. Use your personal set of checks and balances to wield this power to make sound judgments. What positive and negative effects have I caused in my life? What do I stand for and how did I come to this viewpoint? Before making a decision, what other sides and outcomes do I need to first consider? And how can I find confidence in my ability to make decisions and come to personal conclusions? So I like that. So one of the things that I look for in a guide deck, in a in a in a guidebook, is if they explain why they chose the symbolism, the colors, the things that they did that they put in there. So they did make reference to it, heart and mind. They brought up the moon and the sun, the masculine, the feminine. So they did talk about that. So I do love that. I can't stand when I get a card and I'm not sure why they used a certain element that I'm not making a connection with and they don't explain it. For instance, I believe I have a deck where, what is it? The King of Wands has a bull on it. The bull is normally associated with Taurus, who is that is an earth sign, which means it would be more of a pentacles thing. They never explain why there's a bull for the king of wands. Wands is usually not associated with the bull. So that kind of thing I don't like. I like that they make an association to it. Let me see if 10 of swords does that. Ace, 2, 6, come on, 10. 10 of swords. You feel deader than dead, but yet here you still are. You have stabbed yourself or have allowed others to hurt you repeatedly, and you cannot take any more. It is haunting, but it is not over. All you see is the dark side of the moon. Perhaps change in perspective could offer some light. All right, so both of these talk about a change in perspective. To me, I'm hearing the hangman. Is he anywhere here? So maybe somebody needs that message. Maybe you need to see things in a different perspective. I'm just skimming over this. I'm not going to read the whole thing. But I think you kind of get the idea with the swords kind of going through. There isn't much, and there isn't much other symbolism here, but I think we get, you're deader than dead. So let's see, what else do I look for? I also personally look for the Tower card. For me, that is my personal favorite card in a deck. So let's look for the Tower card. Here we go. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. So let's see what we have here. We have the Tower. Of course, it's a haunted house. In the haunted house, it looks like it's in a graveyard, and we've got the lightning that comes in and strikes. Let's see. Should I read the? Let's see. Let's read the Tower card. The tallest, pointiest tower has been dismantled by an extremely turbulent storm. This destruction won't be cheap to mend, but the once helpless, trapped spirits within have been unexpectedly liberated and released into the light. This calamity has transformed this haunted mansion into a cleansed and purified home. The tower signifies a sudden and dramatic change that most likely feels like total upheaval. In a sense, what we have spent time building has been knocked down. This is a turbulent time of panic, but it is only temporary chaos. There is no quick fix or neat solution. Our life is ablaze, and all we can do is offer ourselves over to the fire. While this can appear like total catastrophe, the intention of the tower is to abruptly end a part of our life so that a slate can be wiped clean. It is extreme, yes, and it may feel violent. You will probably feel helpless, but on the other side is a release and purification that comes from the transformation of being uprooted. Enlightenment is a destructive process. It is the crumbling away of untruth. It eradicates what we thought to be true, but now we can clearly see through the facade. Just like a forest fire clearing space for new growth, there's a destruction, but it is not inherently cruel. It is a catalyst that facilitates expansion. Understandably, we still struggle with this energy. While it is happening, it feels like a living nightmare. With some distance, we might find gratefulness. It is obvious we are not the same person we were when it started. The tower is best appreciated in hindsight. Still, we cannot ignore the tragedy of this card. This is a reminder that it is not the end, even if right now it might feel like it. We will walk through this fire and everything false will be destroyed. The questions you can ask yourself are: what is the moment trying to teach me? How can I stop fighting against it? How can I find another outlook on this situation? Here goes another outlook again. Can I find How can I use this moment to transform? And how do I react in crisis? How can I find ways to recover? So that's fantastic. I love the idea of shedding the ghosts that we need to. I know that personally resonates with me. A message I didn't even know I needed. I got that. So thank you, Spirit, for the message. Let's see, what else do I normally look for in a deck? So it is a matte finish. It has the linen on it. Oh, does it have, yeah, let's take a look. See, are there any spreads in here? Yes, we have spreads. Let me see. Frightful Good Time spread. This 5-card spread was designed to help you find joy. Speak to Spirit spread. Oh, excuse me. This 6-card spread brings lessons and direction from the other side. Recharging spread. This 4-card spread was created to help you become more aware of where you need to recharge emotionally. All right, here goes Sunny Graves. Awesome. So she created the deck for herself because she wanted the perfect Halloween tarot. She did a Kickstarter and it was funded. It was funded within 24 hours. Awesome. Yeah, she said she was personally inspired by vintage Halloween art. All right, so about the court cards, she said, as an homage to her Latin heritage, she used Spanglish titles and gender inclusive language to identify the court cards. Yes. So, Page is page or daughter, Caballer is knight or son, Rein is queen or mother, and Rey is king or father. Okay, so yeah, no, my final thoughts on this deck, I love it. I do. I didn't think I would. There's certain elements that if I let them, you know, be a buzzkill, it would, but it's not. I think this is a great deck, especially for the spooky season. So I think you should get it. So yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you want to see other reviews. I love talking about tarot decks. I can go into the symbolism, the imagery. I love seeing how authors uh, portray certain messages through visuals and things like that. So, you know, just give me a reason and I will review a deck for you. All right. This is not paid. This is totally out of my pocket. Like I said, I just love tarot decks and oracle decks. So here we are. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Again, let me know in the comments what you like, what you didn't like. And I will see you next time. Bye.